So the playoffs are starting later tonight, so I actually really want us to do a prediction of all the playoff series and predict how the bracket's going to turn out. It's probably going to be completely wrong, but it's going to be good to look back on at the end of the playoffs and see how close I am to getting it right or how completely wrong I am. Now guys, I've actually set up on NBAbracketology.com, I've set up a group, so I'm going to leave that link as the first link in the description. It's an open group so you can join it, fill in your bracket. My bracket is going to be in this, and we can see who's actually closest to predicting the correct bracket. So anyway, if you guys are interested in doing that, a link will be in the description. And before this video starts, I'd like to thank All Day Ball for sponsoring this video. They're a basketball apparel brand that actually give away shoes every month, so every purchase on the site gets you an entry into a giveaway. Make sure to check them out as well. Link to their site will be in the description. But anyway, now let's get on to the predictions. So we're going to start off with the Eastern Conference, the Toronto Raptors versus the Washington Wizards. Even though talent-wise this should actually be a close matchup, I don't think that the Toronto Raptors are going to have any problem beating the Washington Wizards. Even though historically the Wizards have given them trouble, and talent-wise the Wizards should be right up there, I can see the Raptors winning this in 5 just from the depth on their bench and the fact that, honestly, DeMar DeRozan is the best player in the series. I can see the Raptors winning this in 5. Next is the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Indiana Pacers. While the Pacers have looked alright in the regular season, they are still being led by Oladipo, and they don't really have much of an answer for LeBron James. The Pacers honestly won the Paul George trade. I don't know how, but they managed to win it. Oladipo has proved themselves as an all-star, but I think it's going to be a sweep for the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron James has had 5 sweeps in his last 5 first rounds, and I can't see this year being any different. Cavs in 4. Next is the Boston Celtics versus the Milwaukee Bucks. The Boston Celtics were arguably a top 2 or 3 team in the NBA, and then Kyrie Irving went down. Next season with Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward, they honestly could go on to win the Eastern Conference. But without Kyrie, without Hayward, even with Brad Stevens, as good a coach he is, the Milwaukee Bucks still have Giannis Antetokounmpo, they still got Bledsoe, they've got Chris Middleton, they've got Jabari Parker back from injury now, and I can't see the Bucks losing this series. Milwaukee Bucks in 6 is my prediction. And the last first round series in the Eastern Conference is what I think is going to be the closest, the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Miami Heat. These are 2 completely different teams, but I do think that the young Philadelphia 76ers are going to pull through. But I think this is going to be the only 7-game series in the first round of the Eastern Conference. I think the 76ers beat the Miami Heat in 7 games. So this is what I think the results of the first round Eastern Conference will be. Now let's get on to the conference semis. So now we're going to go into the second round in the Eastern Conference. The Toronto Raptors versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Toronto Raptors honestly have struggled big time against the Cavs, whether it be regular season, whether it be playoffs, because they have no answer for LeBron James. They still don't have any answer for LeBron James, and the Toronto Raptors tend to play worse in the playoffs. As good as the team is, I can't see them getting past LeBron in the second round. I think it's going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers in 6. And it could even be 5. I don't see this series going 7 games. I don't see the Raptors winning. I can see the Cleveland Cavaliers winning in 6 or less games. Who knows? It may even be a shock and sweep. And now the Milwaukee Bucks versus the 76ers. The Bucks and Sixers are both very talented. They're both young. They're both long. But I'm going to give the edge to the team that's played better in the regular season. I'm going to give the edge to the Philadelphia 76ers. Because Ben Simmons and Giannis, very similar. Embiid is really, really good, to be honest, and the Sixers just have that little bit more talent. They're that little bit better coached. And to be honest, I didn't even know the name of the Milwaukee Bucks coach before making this video. So I'm going to say Philadelphia 76ers, but I'm going to say 7 games. So the Sixers coming through with 2 7-game series. So now it's the Eastern Conference Finals, the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Philadelphia 76ers. And I honestly think that this is going to be a cakewalk for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavs in 5. I'm going to give the Sixers a game because of how good Embiid and Ben Simmons are, but I honestly cannot see the Sixers running them close. They're just too young. I think the Sixers will inevitably make an NBA Finals, but I don't think it's going to be this year, and I think the Cavaliers will walk to the NBA Finals without a Game 7 in the Eastern Conference. And now we are on to the Western Conference. So first game is the Houston Rockets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Even though the Timberwolves are supremely talented, I genuinely think the Timberwolves could have ran the Golden State Warriors close without Steph Curry. I just think the Rockets have a little bit too much for them right now, and I think that they are going to win this series in 5 games. A close 5 games, but I think the Rockets just have that little bit too much, especially in the first round. In the first round, I don't think the Rockets are going to have any trouble, and I don't think that Harden and Chris Paul will kind of stop playing in the first round. But yeah, I can see the Rockets winning this series in 5. Next is the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Utah Jazz. A lot of people are talking about how it's Westbrook's time to take over, how Westbrook is going to take over, but from what I've seen through the years, from what I've seen this year as well, when Westbrook does try to take over, especially late in games, in close games, it never seems to work out well. And it definitely works out well less than 50% of the time, which is why in a close series, I think that the Utah Jazz win in 7 games. And I think that Donovan Mitchell comes up huge, and I think that more so than anything, it's going to be Westbrook losing this series than the Jazz winning the series. I can see Westbrook shooting them out of 4 of 7 games, which is why I give the Utah Jazz a slight advantage. But at the same time, Westbrook at his best is unguardable. And if Westbrook is at his best, then who knows, if he plays at his best 4 games in a row, which I don't think we've ever seen, then the Thunder could go and sweep the Utah Jazz. I just think Westbrook's going to shoot his way out of 4 of 7 games in this series. Next is the San Antonio Spurs versus the Golden State Warriors. A lot of people are saying that it's going to be a sweep for the Warriors, and then there's also people on the other side saying that because of the way the San Antonio Spurs play, they're going to slow the game down and Aldridge is going to take over the series. And to be honest, I can't see the Spurs beating Golden State Warriors. Golden State Warriors are well coached, they've got way more talent, and even though Greg Popovich is a great coach, I can't see him winning this series for the Spurs. Warriors in 6, because I think LaMarcus Aldridge is going to go off in one of the games. I'm going to give Popovich a game out-coaching Steve Kerr, but I don't see them having much of a shot at beating the Warriors. And the last series, the Portland Trail Blazers versus the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans have done extremely well so far this year. Anthony Davis has shown that he's a top 5 player in basketball, but at the same time, the Portland Trail Blazers have Lillard, who will probably make the All-NBA first team. They've got CJ McCollum, they've got Nurkic, they've got a nice team, and I think the Portland Trail Blazers are going to win this series in 6 games. Now we're on to the Western Conference semifinals, Houston Rockets versus the Utah Jazz. And I honestly was about to put the Jazz winning this series, crazily enough, because the Houston Rockets, like, James Harden hasn't stepped up big time in the playoffs. Chris Paul hasn't been great except for in the first round in playoffs, and Mike D'Antoni's system tends to struggle in the playoffs while being great in the regular season, which we did see in Phoenix and we saw last year. But I just think that the Houston Rockets have got too much for the Utah Jazz. I think if the Thunder manage to beat the Jazz, I think the Thunder are beating the Rockets. But I think the Rockets will beat the Jazz and make it into the Western Conference Finals. The Golden State Warriors versus the Portland Trail Blazers. I don't give the Portland Trail Blazers much of a chance. I think they didn't win a game against them last year, and Curry will be back for the second round series. I think if the Golden State Warriors get through against San Antonio Spurs, I think they're going to have no trouble beating the Portland Trail Blazers. They might actually struggle against the Pelicans because of Anthony Davis, but I can't see Portland winning more than 1 game. Warriors in 5. And now we're on to the Western Conference Finals, and this is where a lot of people say the Houston Rockets are going to win. They've just got too much for the Warriors, and I'm of the complete opposite opinion. I think that this is going to be a sweep for the Golden State Warriors. I think the Warriors are just better. I think D'Antoni's system is great in the regular season, and with a slow-down game, it's not proven to work in the playoffs. Definitely hasn't proven to work. D'Antoni's teams tend to struggle in the playoffs, and the Warriors have made the NBA Finals for 3 straight years, and I think they're going to make it a 4th straight year. And they're going to do it in emphatic fashion by sweeping the Houston Rockets. It's a crazy prediction, but I think it's going to be a sweep. And now we're on to the finals. As everyone predicted at the start of the year, for the last 3 years basically, it's Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Golden State Warriors. And this is going to be a kind of strange series because, but if you're looking at my bracket, it seems like both of these teams are coming into top form going into the NBA Finals. And the Golden State Warriors, I don't think are as invincible as last year. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, honestly, I think match up a little bit better to the Warriors this year than they did last year. Every other prediction, I've tried to use my head, I've tried to use logic, I've tried to look back on past performances in playoffs especially, but in this prediction, I'm going 100% with my heart. I'm going to bet on the best player in the world. I'm going to bet that LeBron James leads the Cleveland Cavaliers to a win in 7 games. And in my opinion, if he manages to do this, he's probably the greatest player to ever live. But that's what my prediction is. I have the Cleveland Cavaliers winning the NBA championship in 7 games. So anyway, that's the video. If you guys disagree with me, leave in the comments or just enter my NBAbracketology.com bracket. I'm accepting late entries anyway, so if you see this video quite late, you can still enter. But anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. guys.